Sports Talk. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, back in the house today with another episode of NFL Sunday Wake Up with me. It's the first of the month. And what does that mean? Which teams will wake up and cash their checks and get up? Shout out to Bone Thugs and Harmony. But yeah, it's the first of the month, excuse me. It's week 4 here in the National Football League, and we are all locked and loaded and set to give you guys another fabulous week. I hope your week was good, and it'll be better today as we go over the games today. As usual, I'm going to have my power rankings today. My Cowboys, they dropped significantly, and I'll explain why later on. It's pretty obvious why they dropped. I mean, I don't even have to really go into much detail, but I guess I will anyway. And then I'll break down my week 4 preview, and then we'll close up the show with my clutch picks of the week. Right now, one of them is not looking so hot right now. We'll see if they can switch things up here in the second half. But hey, sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk, NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Good morning, one and all. Hope you guys are doing all right on this wonderful Sunday morning here, especially because we got NFL football to talk about. Listen, before we get into it, anything else, let's subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Let's keep that thing going. Make sure you head over to the Grid Network to check out the other content creators that we have there, a plethora of content creators, and they're continuously adding on to the roster there. So we're excited about that as well. Make sure you check me up on YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe, like. I appreciate that. Still trying to grow that YouTube page. And you can see the rest of my social media platforms there down below as you watch. And if you're watching this morning, good morning. And make sure you drop a comment, man. If anything you want to talk about or you want to hear me talk about, please drop a comment, man. I appreciate that. It keeps the show really lively, I would say. But anyway, without further ado, man, like I said, it is the first of the month. Which team will cash their checks and get up? We'll talk about that here. But first, let's get straight into my week 4 power rankings. Wrong one here. Sorry. All right, check this out. So it's changed quite considerably. Last week I had the Niners at 1, the Cowboys at 2, Eagles moved up. But listen, let's just start at number 1. This is the best team in the National Football League, at least as of right now today. They got a nice little road test. They're actually underdogs in this particular game. I guess the Vegas odd makers know something that I don't know. I don't know, but I guess to me, man, and I get it. And this has nothing to do with, at least for me, with them hanging 70 on the Broncos, because we know the Broncos just suck. I mean, it's just straight up. They just flat out suck. But this team, man, their ability to score really, it puts the fear in hearts and minds of a lot of opposing defenses, okay? With Tyreek Hill, Mostert, the little rookie running back, Shane, like Jalen Waddle. They have numerous ways to score on you. Tua looking fabulous, right? Their defense isn't that shabby as well. So to me, honestly, right now, and this is not an overreaction, it's week 4, and I'm just basically going into this week. This is one of the best. If this is the best team right now in the National Football League, right? And then right after that, you got the San Francisco 49ers, who honestly, they're right there too as well. But they're not as explosive as Miami is on offense, and that's probably the only difference. And I would say, it's funny though, because there's similar systems. It's just that you have different personnel, right? They don't have the speedsters the way the Miami Dolphins have, and I'm just flat out scared of the Miami Dolphins at this point. As long as injuries don't overtake them, especially in regards to their quarterback play, they might just be one of those teams that just will be at top of the power ranking for consecutive several weeks, at least in my opinion. Okay, and as far as the Niners are concerned, look, they're solid, they're steady. They don't have a lot of holes, I would say. The only drawback is maybe your quarterback, and that's nitpicking, because listen, as a starter in the regular season, he's undefeated. All right. But Brock Purdy is what Brock Purdy is. Okay. Now, he's not going to go out there and just win you a game, but he may not lose you a game. Okay. But their defense is stout. They have playmakers around that roster: George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. They got guys. They got guys as well, especially on defense too. You got Bosa, you got Warner, so they can get after it as well on both sides of the football. So that's why they're still a scary, incomplete team, and they beat the teams they need to beat. Unlike my Cowboys, who I'll talk about later on. All right. Then the Eagles. Listen, as much as I hate the Eagles, and I hate them with a passion, I gotta give props where props is due. They're finding ways to win games still. Now they're not looking the way they were looking last year. And that's perfectly fine. That's a totally separate, that's a different team. That's a different coaching staff. So I expected a lot of changes to happen this season for them. Now they're still finding other ways to win. And shout out to Jalen Hurts. Listen, I believe it was like last week or the week before, I forgot. He was in a press conference and people were just like, "Oh, you guys aren't looking like how you were last year." And then he was like, "Well, when did winning not account for anything?" And at the end of the day, they're still winning games. They're beating teams that they need to beat and should beat, and they're moving on. So they might find their stride again. Now, AJ Brown isn't really involved in the offense the way he was last season. It seems like Devontae Smith is starting to take over that that excuse me, that position on the throne there. Who knows? But maybe they'll find a way. But again, they have a new offensive coordinator. They're filling themselves out, but they're still winning football games, and that's what a championship caliber team does. Okay, all right. You figure out ways to still win. All right, no matter what's going on, no matter what type of adversity that you're facing, you know, defensive coordinator gone, offensive coordinator gone. It doesn't matter. You still find ways to win. So I got them at number 3. All right, then you got the Detroit Lions. Impressive win Thursday night on the road. They own the Packers at this point. They've won 3 straight against them, 2 um, away in Lambeau. So shockingly enough, they faltered a little bit in week 2, that loss to Seattle, but they bounced back the week after. And then Thursday night, they had a pretty good showing. And offensively, they're one of the better teams. Defensively, they're getting better as well. And they have a lot of talent as well. That it's underrated talent that people are not really speaking of. They got guys that are not even getting on the field at this point. So we'll have to wait and see with them. But I got them at number 4. And then the Kansas City Chiefs. Typical slow starts, right? That's what they typically do. But they're going to probably slowly start rising if they continue to keep winning. The only reason why I have them under the Lions is just, head to head, the Lions beat them straight up. So that's my reasoning behind it. But still a very good team. You got the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce thing going on. So that's bringing a little bit more hype machine to the Kansas City area. But still, nonetheless, this is a very functional team. Their defense is actually pretty good. It's not that bad, right? Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's phenomenal. And they're the Super Bowl champs. So I don't want to disrespect them, but I don't want to overrate them yet right now because I think the 4 other teams above them could beat them, and one of them has. So, but we still got a long ways to go in this NFL season. A lot of things could happen. But again, their slow starts always kind of gets everyone around the water cooler talking a little bit like, oh my God, this is the year that the Chiefs falter. But honestly, the AFC is pretty much secured for them. The Raiders are a mess. The Chargers are what the Chargers are, and we all know about the Denver Broncos. So they're going to win that division straight up. So, all right, moving on. The Buffalo Bills at number 6. Good win last week against the Commanders, a solid win. They did what they needed to do. They went on the road and beat a team that they are better than they better are. That they're better than that. Excuse me, I can't talk that. They beat a team who they are better than. Simple as that. That's what you should do. All right. They're still, very dependent on Josh Allen, right? I mean, he is everything to them. All right. So to me, they're gonna be they'll be around, right? But I don't know if in the end they'll have enough to finish out the year and be one of those top teams again. So, but I mean, I guess they are one of the top teams. But to be in that upper echelon of the power rankings, I don't know. A lot would have to change. I like the Baltimore Ravens. Even though they did suffer a loss, they the Colts are maybe not as bad as we thought they were. To be honest with you, I will say this though: injuries are really hurting this team. Again, I don't know what it is in Baltimore, why their guys. It's not like their guys miss a game or two. You got guys that they're going on the IR. They're missing, several weeks of competition, right? But you still got Lamar Jackson, you still got Zay Flowers, you still got Mark Andrews. Their defense is okay. It's not like it once was before. But they're still a middle of the road in regards to the power rankings type of team. They got a big one today though on the road against Cleveland, who looks pretty good the last 2 games, right? So, or at least last week they looked really good. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay. Now let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. So they've dropped from 2 to 8, and for obvious reason. Listen, last week, I know a lot of Cowboys fans are like, "Oh, it was just an outlying situation," and in my opinion, really wasn't. It was basically a dichotomy or a preview of what is probably to be expected. Now, the Cowboys are not good when they are heavily favored. It seems like every time that they're heavily favored, they choke. It's almost every single time. It's very a rare occasion where they actually do cover the spread when they're heavily favored. And last week, man, you were there with 13-point favorites. I get it. You lose 3 offensive linemen. You lose Trayvon Diggs, literally that right Thursday going into the game. One of the big leaders on that defense. Micah Parsons looked out of sorts, right? And credit to the head coach Gannon there. I mean, he knows how to play the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, Dak Prescott is still he's mid. As much as I like the guy, he's just that's the type of game where you need your quarterback to say, you know what, guys, put it on me. I will take us the rest of the way. Um, and he just he couldn't do it. And again, he throws that interception, which is at the end of the game, which is like a typical Dak Prescott interception. It's like, who the hell are you throwing to? There's 3 guys on one. It's just not good enough. And honestly, man, I'm really just tired of him coming up to the press conferences and like, we got to do better. It's like, dude, it's 7-8 years, man. It is what it is. I've accepted that as a Cowboys fan. And I know there's some guys out there that are very optimistic and I hate to be the cynical, but it's not even being cynical. It's just the God honest truth. I thought, and I never say this because I hate being that typical Cowboys fan. But last week I was in my feelings and I was like, you know what? This team might actually have a chance. Okay. And then what do? They go and lose to Josh Dobbs and the Arizona Cardinals, in which they were 13-point favorites. They haven't beaten the Cowboys. Excuse me, they haven't beaten the Cardinals since like 2000. I believe it's like 16 or 18. I forgot what it was. It was like Dak's second or third year, right? You know, and and I get it, th- and this comes up a lot, with the Cowboys. Mozzie Smith. Is he a bust? And some people say, "Oh, it's too early." He's a bust. He's your first round pick, and he doesn't even see the field, man. We could have taken an offensive lineman that we could have plugged in, a highly graded offensive lineman who we could have plugged in last week or moving forward, right? And then you got the Tyron Smith situation. Oh, well, he took a deal. He restructured his deal. Who cares? The guy doesn't play anymore. And no disrespect to him. He's a surefire Hall of Famer, y'all, but the guy does not play games anymore. And the reports are, well, they sat him out because they're keeping him for, certain amount of games down the stretch. It doesn't matter if you're losing these games now. Every game matters in the National Football League, especially for seeding. Cowboys are not that good enough to go out and just win in different ways. They've proven that time and time again. And last week was just another example. So, I'm really low on the Cowboys at this point. Even I'm still a fan. That's my team. But I'm just being honest with you that they messed up a lot on this last draft, and a lot of people they like the Mozzie Smith, they like the not the Overshown Schoonmaker, and these guys are not even playing. They're not even impacting this team. The one guy that I thought was going to make a huge impact, he ended up getting hurt for the year, right? The safety slash linebacker out of Texas, Overshown, and he's not even playing. Mozzie's a bust. Okay, I don't care. He's a bust for us. Yeah, it's one thing if you got him in the second, third, okay, fine, whatever. But you took him with your first pick in the draft, and the guy doesn't. Oh well, Ryan, they got so much depth here now. Well, why the hell did we draft him then? Why the hell did we draft him? The most glaring need on this team was offensive linemen, and they ended up passing up on guys like Osiris Torrance, um, out of Florida. We needed an extra lineman. Terrence Steele coming off a significant injury. Tyler Smith missed some games last year, and we know Tyron Smith misses games, and Zach Martin has not been healthy a lot, right? But let's go take Mozzie Smith so we can stop the run. And guess what? He don't play, and they still give up over what 2 something in yardage last week. Come on, man, get out of here with that. But anyway, I digress. Moving on to number 9, we got the Seattle Seahawks. they're a solid team. I think they're gonna get their stride and they're gonna keep winning some games here. It's not easy for them. They're in a tough division. The Rams are not looking like the pushovers, right? That maybe people thought they were going to be. And you got the Niners in that division as well. So, but still a very quality football team, well coached. They have an identity, and they can play on the road. That's one thing I do like about Seattle is that they can travel. Their game gets on the plane with them, and it arrives wherever they're playing, and which I love about them. Now, finally, the Saints. I'm going to show them a little love. Unfortunately, Derek Carr is injured. I don't know if he's playing. I don't think he's playing today. But with him, this team is better than what I thought they were going to be. Absolutely. Now, Jameis Winston is the backup, and I don't know, um, you know, what what he can offer. Jameis Winston is just a guy. He's a backup at this point, but I still like the Saints. Their defense. Oh, Carr is playing. I'm seeing that in the comments. So I like this team when Carr plays. Now, if he's still significantly injured, that probably will affect his play. But Derek Carr is a good quarterback. Don't get it twisted because I know he was in Oakland and Las Vegas as a Raider for many years, but that's a trash ass organization. Okay, so that's not on him. I think Derek Carr is a great football player. I think he's a great quarterback and he's a great leader, and I like the Saints. So, all right, let's hit the comments real quick before we move on. Um, Patrick Brown says, "Good morning, happy football Sunday. Let's go Cowboys." Tyler Helton, what's up, man? Hey, good morning to you, Tyler. He says, "Yo." And he comes back and says, "Remember, KC Chiefs start slowly a few weeks, but our defense looked legit and amazing." Yep, I agree. I think the defense is much more improved. And then you get guys back like Chris Jones. It can only get better. Tyler says, "I think Miami versus Chiefs. Yeah, that would be a conference championship game to watch for sure. You know, with especially the way the Dolphins can run up and down the field, and even Patrick Mahomes every now and then. Now he is Tyreek Hill in that team anymore. So they don't have that ability like they once did, right? To run up and down like that, like a track meet, right? But Patrick Mahomes is legend. He's a legend, right? uh, Good morning, Barry. He says Dak Prescott, enough said when I was talking about the Cowboys. Yeah. Yeah, enough said on that, brother. Patrick says, living here in Indiana, Colts fans are seeing hope that their team can compete. Anthony Richardson has a lot of upside and they'll fly under the radar. I was really high on Anthony Richardson. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, he's never played a lot." And let me tell you something. As a coach here in here in Las Vegas, I've coached high school, coach youth. That doesn't mean anything anymore because a lot of these guys, especially if they're like really legit quarterbacks, they get some of the best training there is to offer from the time they can pick up a football until they pass up through to the NFL. So, yes, he does not have a lot of games as a starting quarterback, but he's a good athlete. He's a great athlete. He's a superior athlete, actually. Um, he just needs to be in the right situation, and he might be in that situation right now. So we'll see. But the Colts are definitely looking better than what people thought. Sure. All right, and Tyler comes back and he says, "Hey, Barry Grant." Let's see. Barry Grant says, in regards to the Cowboys, if the team isn't perfect, meaning nobody's hurt, this is a below average. We won't go anywhere with him. I made my peace with it now. Yep, that's kind of how I feel now. It's like it is what it is. If they go on a run and win out the rest of the year, I'll be like, you know what? They'll find a way to screw it up. That's just the Cowboys at this point. So, so I've made my peace with that. I'm not gonna get mad anymore. I used to be like, it would ruin my week when the Cowboys lose, but now I'm just like, it is what it is, man. All right. Patrick comes back, says CJ Stroud looking, the Carolina Panthers looking like they made a mistake at taking Bryce Young. CJ Stroud I thought was the best quarterback in this last previous draft. I thought he was. So I don't know. Patrick says we haven't beaten Arizona since 2017. It's the one team on the road. Yeah, I was at that game. It was a Monday night game. I knew it was maybe I thought it was, yeah. So 2016, 2017, I was at that game, Monday night game when we last beat them. But nope. What's up, Amir? Amir High says Detroit interesting. They're at 4. They've looked good, but I'm not big on Jared Goff. Listen, I get it. Jared Goff is not like a sexy kind of pick right there, but you know what, man? He's pretty efficient when you peel back the numbers. He does get the job done. He can't push the ball down the field. But overall, collectively, this team is firing on all cylinders, even though that one little hiccup against Seattle in week 2 where they cost me my clutch picks of the week there. All right. Tyler says, any thoughts on Isaiah Pacheco? Is he a bust or not? Or not a bust? He is a 7th round pick, I think. Listen, guys in the 7th round, listen, he's not a bust because they took him with like, yeah, well, who's on the board? All right, we like him. All right, we'll take him. Like, not a lot was invested in taking Pacheco. And then last year they got a lot of return on their investment. So I would say he's not because they didn't have to give up a lot. When you 7th round pick, it's like guys are just those typically are guys that are going to probably be on the practice squad at some point or get cut or just another body for training camp. So for me, I don't think he's a bust. I think he's a plus because whatever they get out of him, it's gonna always gonna be a plus because they didn't have to spend a lot on him. Now they had taken him like first, second round, like the Cowboys took their guys, and they don't even provide any value. Then that's a bust. But Pacheco does still provide somewhat of value. Patrick Brown says, as the saying goes, we like our guys, and that's proven to be a little to be desired. We could have taken Michael Mayer, yep, or offense line. Hell, we could have had Sam Laporta. Detroit Lions took him, and look what he's doing, right? But we took Luke Schoonmaker. Like, who the hell is that? You know? So, again, fumbling it. And then Ben Corner says CJ Stroud will also face a very good defense in Pittsburgh today. So let's see how he does. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But I think he's still the better quarterback out of the ones that were taken, or one of the best, right? Any thoughts on Las Vegas Raiders Chandler Jones release? I'm praying for him. I hate Las Vegas Raiders. It's very sad. Chandler Jones, one of the premier pass rushers in the National Football League. Something's going on with this guy. I don't know if it's because of the Raiders, his relationship with Mike McDaniel, but it seemed like the Chandler brothers, man, like they got some type of inherent DNA, something that they can't keep themselves together, man. So I'm hoping that he's able to figure whatever he needs to figure out, and he can bounce back and move forward with his career, just his life in general. And finally, Ben says, in his opinion, that is a 6th and 7th round who not only play but play well aren't a bust. Yeah, so he basically shares my sentiments as well. But it's a good question. I get it. But yeah, any guy that's drafted in the later rounds, if they provide any value to your team, and this guy he's one of if not their starting running back, he's not a bust in my opinion. So and I like him. I like Pacheco, man. He runs hard. He runs super hard, and you got to give it up to the brother for him for that. All right. So that's my power rankings. Cowboys dropped significantly. And listen, and we'll talk about the game that they got today with the Patriots. So let's get straight into that real quick. I'm tripping today, y'all. All right, let's go. Week 4 preview. We got right now, obviously, the Falcons and Jags are taking place right now in England. That's one of my clutch picks of the week. Falcons not doing it for me. Unfortunately, it's well, what's the score? I think it was at halftime when the show started, but oh, well, at least they got on the board. They're only down 10. Maybe they can fight back and maybe get me in the win column there. All right, but anyway, Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Houston Texans. Interesting matchup here. 2 young quarterbacks, 2 teams that looked really good last week, right? Well, I wouldn't say that. Well, I guess so. Steelers coming on the road to Las Vegas. They beat a very underwhelming Raiders team on Sunday Night Football. Really didn't move the ball, I thought, the way they probably should have against that treacherous or horrid Raiders defense. But nonetheless, they got the win. It's hard in the NFL. I get it. Texans go on the road, and they beat literally the defending AFC South Division champions, and they throttled them. Literally, CJ Stroud looked good. Defense looked good. They're at home today, so we'll see, man. I listen. The Texans were, and I've got this documented. They were in a lot of close games last year. A lot of close games last year. I'm not saying that they're going to win the division or going to make the playoffs, but there's something going on in Houston right now. Now, I still think that at some point, D'Amico Ryans is not going to be the guy that can help elevate them because, in my opinion, defensive-minded coaches they're okay. They're good. They're good enough. But when you have young quarterbacks, for me, I want an offensive-minded coach just to help develop them. But it is what it is. But right now they're playing hard, man. And something with him and Tank Dell, they got something going on there. It's fun to watch. And I've been on Tank Dell during the whole draft process. So I like what they got going on there. But if I had to pick a game for this one, I'm going to take the Texans, man. I'm really going to take the Texans. I think they're going to just have a little bit more firepower. because the Steelers, as good as they play defense, they don't score enough points. And we can see that Houston can score. Like they got some weapons out there. So I'll take the Houston to win at home. All right. The next game, you got the LA Rams taking on the Indianapolis Colts. I won't give you my pick on that. I'll do that a little bit later on in the show, but this is my clutch pick of the week. But short week for LA. They lost to the Bengals on Monday night in a game that they probably could have won, obviously. And then the Colts coming off a very good win on the road against Baltimore in overtime. So, I'll give you guys my pick on this one. But listen, this is going to be a close game for sure. It's tough, when you're in LA or, when you're on the road like that, especially for an LA team. And then you have to stay out there. I'm assuming they stayed out where they were at in Ohio, and because Cincinnati and Indianapolis is not too far from each other. So I would assume they stayed out there. So, time away from home. But honestly, that can bring a team together too as well. And listen, the Rams aren't as bad as maybe people probably expected. All right. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, but I'll give you my pick later on. All right, Vikings taking on the Carolina Panthers. Andy Dalton. Oh no, Bryce Young getting the start versus Kirk Cousins. Carolina's at home. Minnesota. I kind of like Minnesota in this spot. They got to win. I mean, their season's pretty much done anyway. At the end, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not impressed with Bryce Young and what he's able to do so far. They've been underwhelming, I would say. They've been very underwhelming, so I'll have to wait and see. But I'll take Minnesota to win this one. All right, we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road in New Orleans. Derek Carr is, I guess, supposedly starting, so I will take the Saints at home just because they play well at home, and I like the Saints in that spot right there. So we'll take the Saints to win. Washington Commanders going to Philadelphia, of the city of brotherly love, to take on the Eagles. Commanders got shellacked last week, and they're playing, a 3-0 team that's on a mission at this point, and I think they're gonna keep riding that ship there. And I got Philly to win that one pretty easily, even though it's a divisional game. I think they'll outlast the Commanders in the end. And then another clutch pick of the game, pick of the week. We got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills. This is probably the most exciting game of the whole Sunday. And unfortunately, it's in the morning slot, so 10 a.m. my time. For those on the East Coast, you guys, one something. But I wish they could flex games so early. This would have been a great flex game for a Sunday night matchup, but it is what it is. We got the Dolphins on the Bills. You guys know how I feel about the Dolphins at this point, but I'll give you guys my pick here in just a minute. All right, moving along. We got the Bengals taking on the Tennessee Titans. I have not seen any word on Joe Burrow. I believe he is still going to give it a go. Titans they did not look good last week. Offensively, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with them. I know they've regressed. Their window of opportunity is pretty much albeit gone. I really had a little bit better expectations for them just because you add guys like D Hop. Now I know D Hop isn't the same dude anymore, but they just don't got it, man. And then today I'm gonna take this one's close to me because the Bengals have not looked that great themselves. But if I'm just gonna pick it over quarterbacks, and if Joe Burrow is starting, I'm gonna take the Bengals to beat Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans on the road. All right, I got the Ravens and the Browns. The Browns are actually 3-point favorite or 2-point. Oh no, I take that back. The Ravens are favorite now. But that changed because the last couple of days, I believe, when I first bet on this game, the Ravens were plus 1.5, so that line has changed. But this is a divisional game, two teams that played each other tough. Now, even though the Ravens have a lot of injuries, I'm still expecting the Browns to be the Browns again. This is, they beat up on Tennessee last week, but this ain't Tennessee that they're playing, right? I'm going to take the Ravens to win this game on the road and defeat the Cleveland Browns. All right, Denver Broncos, Chicago Bears, another clutch pick of the week. Listen, you guys gonna be like, what did he say? Like, when I say this statement, this is gonna be one of the most fun games to watch because it's two terrible football teams. It's like watching a car accident. You ever driving and you're like, I'm not gonna look at this accident. I'm not gonna look. And then next, you get up there and you're like, oh damn, that's crazy. That's what this game is, right? Two probably the worst teams in football, going head to head. Denver Broncos, we know what it is about them. It's been chronicled now with Sean Payton now, his coaching ability. Like, listen, I I I I'm not surprised, but I am surprised. Listen, Sean Payton was a very good football coach. But let's just be real too. His last years in New Orleans really they didn't do it. I mean, he's living off of that one Super Bowl that he won many years ago. What did he do? Now they got robbed that one year when the Rams won that game and they shouldn't have won. At least it should have been pass interference and we would have, whatever history was written. But other than that, what has Sean Payton really done? He kind of reminded me of like when the Raiders rehired John Gruden and they gave him that 10-year deal. And it's like, based on what? Like when John Gruden left Tampa Bay and retired or whatever, they sucked. And then same thing with Sean Payton. He got basically asked to leave New Orleans. So I don't know, man. And the Bears ain't no better, man. Like, Justin Fields, he may have talent, but they're just not utilizing him. Or honestly, maybe he just ain't the guy either. I mean, it happens. It happens. Um, but this will be an entertaining game to watch just because of how this game will be close, I would think. But I'll give you my pick later. All right, Raiders in LA to take on the Chargers. Jimmy Garoppolo is out, so it's not gonna be Brian Hoyer or some other guy that they got there. I forgot the guy's name, but Chargers should win this game. If the Chargers don't win this game against the Raiders, just move back to San Diego. Okay, do something because this is a winnable. This should have been a lock pick, right? And I but it is what it is. But all right, Patriots and Cowboys. This one's gonna be, I think, a little tighter, just because Bill Belichick he's really good at taking away what you do well, especially from a defensive standpoint. Their defense is good. Patriots defense, it's just their offense is just it's lackluster. Right? If they had somewhat of a reasonable offense, the Patriots would be in a better position, but they don't have the quarterback, they don't have the offensive firepower. But defensively, they can get into the Cowboys for sure. And Dak Prescott probably won't have a great game. And Zeke is a homecoming for him. Look, this is our luck for the Dallas Cowboys. This fool looked like, I'm talking about Zeke, he looked like complete ass with us, right? Towards the latter years of his career. He'll come back into Dallas today, and this fool will go off. That's our luck. That's all. I would not be surprised because the blueprint is out there on how to beat the Cowboys, especially keep running the football at them. And so if the Patriots can keep this game close very late, they got a chance. But my gut tells me at the end of the day, the Cowboys just have a little bit more skill on the offensive side, and that's going to be the difference. So I'm going to take the Cowboys to win this one this afternoon. All right, Cardinals in San Francisco. Listen, the Niners, they're going to take care of business. The Cardinals are not great, but the Cowboys made them look like Super Bowl champs last week. All right, Josh Dobbs looking like a perennial Pro Bowler. That's not going to happen today. Niners will willy whack them. I just made that. I don't even know what the hell willy whack means, but they're gonna take them to the tool shed and beat up on those Cardinals today. All right, Sunday Night Football. This is gonna be a snoozer. Jets and Kansas City Chiefs on the road in New York taking on the Jets. This, in theory, this should have been a great matchup, right? But no Aaron Rodgers. The Jets cannot score on anybody. They can't score at all. Like, so, and Chiefs can. So this might get ugly quick. And this Jets defense, although they have some guys, they might be a little bit more vulnerable now because they're going to be on the field more because Zach Wilson can't keep drives going. And unfortunately, the defense is going to suffer because of that. So the Chiefs should win this game. Moving on. And then the Monday night game, this one's interesting. The Seahawks taking on the New York Giants. I really like the Seahawks. They're the road favorites, so I'm gonna take them. They're just the better football team at the end of the day. So I like the Seahawks. All right. Let's get to some comments here before I give you guys my clutch picks of the weeks and get out of here. So let's see here. Tyler says, okay, CEA is bust because I love Isaiah Pacheco. He amazing talent. I want Andy run more ball with Isaiah Pacheco, but he not 100%. No, okay. So you're saying he he isn't a bust, right? Is that what you're saying, Tyler? I don't know. I think that's what you're saying, maybe. And then he says he loves his YouTube channel. All right, cool. Pacheco's YouTube channel? Is that what you're talking about? And then we got Patrick Brown says teams from the West Coast playing Eastern time zone don't do so well. It depends. I know we have a couple of those today, like Seattle. Who else is who's doing that today? Uh, who else is doing that? Oh, the Rams. The Rams. But I think the Rams never came back home. So they've been in that time zone, for the whole week. So they should be acclimated because Indianapolis is not far from Cincinnati. Not at all. He asked me, Patrick asked me my thoughts on Vikings head coach saying he ordered aftermarket equipment to aid his players in fixing the fumbling problems. Have you ever heard any coaches saying no? And he should though. He should keep these fools accountable. These guys get paid millions of dollars to play a game of football. You need to be protecting the ball better. But the Vikings are a sinking ship. I mean, they are. Justin Jefferson, if he decides to leave at some point, it's over for them. Bears Broncos can be a tire fire for all I care. It could be played until the cows come home. It could, but it's going to be an interesting game to watch. I will say that. Um, what is this? Seth Messersmith for Ravens Nation, Terrapins Nation. Disney Plus is showing football games. Okay, appreciate that. And then Tyler says, "I love okay. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the shout out, man." He says he likes my YouTube channel. Appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. All right. Before we get out of here, man, let's go over the clutch picks of the weeks right now. Let's see how the Falcons are doing here. Oh, did I not get it on here? Oh, shoot. I did not load that screen here, so my bad. Oh, there we go. We'll get it here. I'll load it up here right now. The wonders of live streaming, right? You guys catch every mistake that I make, but it's all good. It's all good because I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. So, all right, here we go. Here's the graphic here. All right, clutch picks of the week right now. Not looking good with my Falcons pick. They're down 10. It's late in the third quarter, but maybe they can pull it out. Last week I did go 2-2, so I'm 6-6 on the season. Still, I'm battling, man. Like it is what it is, man. So, but maybe right now I'm not looking good right now, but hopefully the Rams can help me out later on, man. I really like the Rams in this spot, even though it's going to be a close game. The Colts have some injuries on the offense and defensive line, so maybe that might prohibit them from getting the victory today. But it will be a close game. I like Denver in the tire fire game, the tire fire bowl against the Chicago Bears. I think they're just going to outlast them at the end of the day on the road. And in Miami, I got them going into Buffalo and taking on and beating the Buffalo Bills, which should be a good game. It's a rematch of last year's, I believe, divisional round of the playoffs. So I forgot the quarterback there. Skylar Thompson almost led the comeback and beat the Buffalo Bills. What do you think Tua will do this season at the helm? So it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good game. So we'll have to wait and see. So I'm looking. Aaron Rodgers will still be healthy, but it is what it is. But hey, you guys, you hear the music? That's all I got, man. We're literally just a little bit over an hour away from the first kickoff, man. Enjoy week 4. Have fun. Enjoy your week. Have a wonderful and solid week, man. I'll be back next week live here again, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate everyone that was in the comment section this morning. Big ups to you guys. I appreciate the love. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, man, do so. It only helps me out even more so. So, but yeah, that's all I got, man. That's all I got. I don't know. I'm out. So until next time, man, hope you guys enjoy the show. Again, until next time, this is Clutch Reports Talk. NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, your boy, Ryan Flowers. Like I always say, never settle till the work is done. See you guys later.